In this lesson, we will talk about the customization tools that allow us to change materials, meshes or furniture and their materials. Now, let's go to our rooms, the customization rooms. So here we have two rooms. We have the legacy room with features that I developed and I kept because I think they are still useful. And when I developed these, it was because I wanted to demonstrate blueprint to my students who got my Unreal Engine course. So we started very simple and then we increased the difficulty by creating dynamic UI and so on. So if you want to take a look behind the scenes how these are made, or if you want to use these for your projects, you can still use them. However, what we are going to cover today is the user interface elements. Now, I'm going to press Ctrl Space and let's locate these assets here, or basically their blueprints. Let's go to Blueprints, Systems, Configurators. Here we have three systems. We have materials, we have meshes, and we have materials and meshes together combined, and we have shared elements in between. Okay? Now, when you open any of these, you're going to find just one actor, one blueprint actor. So that one blueprint actor, you can simply click and drag to your project. So to show you an example, I'm going to create a duplicate of this sofa so we can see the location of that actor. And here, let's say mat and mesh, I'm going to click and drag and I'm going to place this on top of my actor. Now, when I click on play, let's bring the teleportation panel and teleport to the room here. And now I'm going to click on customize, and as you can see, based on the location of the actor, this panel appeared. So if I placed our actor here, this panel will appear here every time we get closer. If you place it, let's say on the top of the sofa, so I'm going to get the location of the sofa. So I'm gonna select here, press Shift, right click to copy the location settings, press Shift, left click here to paste the location settings, and I'm going to move this to the top. I'm going now to click on play and let's teleport to our customization room and enable the customization option. And as you can see, this is spawning a user interface based on when we place it. Now, this is a new actor that we just placed, and this means that this new actor is completely empty. It does not have any settings. So when I click on swap meshes, we will not see any settings that I just mentioned. So we need to set these up. Now, we already have examples. So let's start with this. Here, if you get closer, swap meshes, it will automatically outline the meshes that we've selected. So click here. We have three options and each option have three material options. So if we take a look behind the scenes, what's happening, I'm going to click on this actor and let's take a look. First of all, for each of these actors, we have two box collisions, one that is close to the mesh and one that is far from the mesh. That's one. When you download this, when you click on this actor, here on the very top, you're going to find something similar to this. We have box extent, the small collision box extent, and the big collision box extent. And the big one is for the visibility of the small icon, and the small one is for the visibility of the user interface where we click to get our customization options. I'm going to click on play and I'm going to click on customize. So the moment I enter the small box, and let me see if we can show the small box, I'm going to type in the corner here, show collision. It didn't work, so let me type that again. There we go. There are many collisions. So this seemed to be, if you can see, the small box. Once I enter this, we will see the user interface popping with the options we can select. And once we leave the small box, we will see the small icon. And let's say I'm going to click here and I'm going to leave the small box. This will stay, that's fine. But the moment I leave the bigger box, this will disappear and the outline will also disappear. So this is by design. I wanted for this to happen because I don't want for these to be visible forever. Now when I click on customize, we have the customization options. Okay, so let's start from here. As I said, you can set the small box collision. So if you want bigger space, then you can set for this to be bigger on the X and the Y and the Z if you want. Okay, that's one. for the small box and for the big box. So if you want bigger distance by default, if you want to be able to see the small icon, even if you are here instead of the default value that starts from here. So if you want to see it from all across the map, simply make this much bigger. Okay, now I'm going to spawn here and I'm going to click on play and I'm going to, let's go far. So when I click on play, we will spawn where we have our first person character. So I'm going to click on customize, and as you can see, we see this from big distance. Now that's why we have our big collision box extent set to these values here, 1400 by 1400. I thought this is an enough space. Maybe we can increase it a little bit or decrease it depending on the density of how many actors you have like this. So that's one regarding the box extents, the small and the big. I hope this is very clear. Next to that, depending on the actor you select, we have some options. So here we have select a button, and that basically what it says on the title. So here if I click on customize, get closer, because this have two options here. We have select a button. So this is a customizable text here. So these elements here exist here, but I don't think they exist on the mesh swap system. This one have only one button, but this here have two buttons because maybe you want to learn more about, there is a gallery of images of the materials. So if you want the same functionality to be extended on the mesh swap, simply let me know and we can include that in upcoming updates. Now, select a button, customize, learn more, and their icons, they are all here. So I'm going to select this. As you can see, we have UI material option, select a button, customize, learn more, and their materials on the buttons or the icon material, they are all can be set from here. And the learn more button, it has a rich text and it has a main title, it has a subtitle, and it has a URL that you can enable or disable. So the learn more button, if we disable it on this specific actor, and I'm going to click on customize and I'm going to get near, now we see only one button. We don't see the learn more button. If I want to enable it, so let's click and enable this. Here we have the ability to set a gallery. So the gallery is another topic. Let's talk about it in a second. Let's click on customize. Here you can see that we have learn more. We have a website and we have a gallery. So the rich text would allow us to write a text and would allow us also to control the text. So here you can set multiple text formats with different colors. It can be bold, it can be italic, and so on. The image gallery, if this is empty, so I'm going to delete it and I'm going to click on play, click on customize. Here, if there are no images, we will not see the button. So that's also by design. But if we have images, so let me press Ctrl Z to bring back our images. Click on play, click on customize, click here, click learn more, click on gallery. Now this will open our gallery that is specific for this actor only. So you can have two actors, place them around your world, your project, and you can change these settings if you want or keep them because these are global, but you can for sure change the name of the asset, the subtitle of the asset, the description of the asset, the image gallery of the asset. Okay, so these are the essential settings for our customizers here. And this is very important when it comes to material selection. So we have all these settings for that. Now, in addition to all of this, the most important part is the ability to customize. So when you select a material selector, if we go here, we have material options data. You have the meshes to update their material. And here in the mesh changer, the meshes to change actually, it says select meshes to update, and then set the new mesh options, and the same here on the materials, select the meshes that you want to update their material, and then the available material options or available meshes options or both. When you want to change materials, so meshes to update material, if you click and expand this, you will see that we have the ability to add as many elements as we want, and every time you add an element, you want to set that element. So by default, when you add new elements, it will say none. So you want to click and you want to set that element. I don't think we should use it twice. So I already have these three elements, but let's say I added a fourth and right now I'm gonna keep this at none. Let's try that. Let's click on customize. Let's click on customize and change this. As you can see, this is not changing because we just added it. And now, since this is set to none, we also get errors. It's very important for you when you add your options here not to have something set to none, because that will create problems. So at least as of this version. So now if you don't want to see these problems, click on play. Of course, I deleted that none. Click on customize, click customize, click escape, no problems. But if you have any asset index set to none, you will get problems. So now I'm going to change, and when I click on escape, we get an error. So click and pick this, and now click on play, and let's click on customize. Of course, now we will not get any problems since we disabled none. We selected an actual mesh, and you can see now this is being highlighted, and now we can change its material like so. Beautiful. Now, with the exact same logic, we have the mesh of the bed. So I'm going to click here, and if you see, we have one mesh that we update. So if I click and drag this here, if I want to update these two meshes, I can click and pick this. And we have the set new mesh options. We have two options. We have the good old bed, which is the exact same. It has the mesh option that we select, and it has the UI texture, and it has the materials. So this bed here, it has 4 material IDs. This sphere here, or this material sphere, it has 3 material IDs, and you can set as many material IDs as you want on the materials here, and you can set the material ID number 0, 1, 2, whatever, then set the material instance of that object. Basically, that's it. So this bed here, the pillow, for example, it has material ID number 3. The main body, it has material ID number 0, and so on. Now, I'm going to click on play, and let's go to customize. Let's get near the bed to change it to the different bed. And as you can see, since we picked it, it just works. No problem. Now, something to be aware of: when you want to change meshes of your objects, they should not be set to static, they should be set to movable. So that's very important. If I set this to static and I try to change this, it will not work. So I'm going to click on customize, swap meshes, click. As you can see, nothing is happening, and we will get errors now. Once we press on escape, it will tell us, hey, the mobility is static. So we need to set the mobility to movable of our bed meshes. So I'm gonna just keep 1. I deleted this. Now this here has something set to none. So we also need to delete the select meshes to update from none to nothing, basically just one element in our array, which is just this bed. So here, if we take a look at the options we have, you can set new mesh options, click to add a third option. Now, if we click on play, we will see that we have 3 options, not 2 options. So swap meshes, 1, 2, 3. So the third option here is doing nothing. It will actually make our mesh disappear because it has nothing on it. So if we take a deeper look, what we have the option name, let's say hello, and then the UI texture. You can set a texture, and we will talk about how we can take screenshots in the next lesson. You can assign the texture, and then the mesh option. Here I have these meshes as options. You can create a duplicate, you can modify it, you can import it, and it must be as one mesh. Okay, so this supports only one mesh that's merged together. You can set that mesh option. And for the materials, you need also to set the materials. So you need to set the material IDs when you add a new mesh option. So click on customize. Now we see this mesh option, and this mesh option. As always, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, or if you need more demonstration, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Stay hydrated, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.